All right, welcome everybody. This is Tom Challan. Maybe a little bit closer this way. Welcome to our live stream. There you go. Perfect. Thank you. Welcome to our live stream. I think I already said my name is Tom Challan, and this is specific training to help you build your home-based business. And today I've got a great training for you today. Something I don't talk about a lot, but it's so needed. I've been doing one-on-one coaching. For some reason, I put an automatic scheduler out there, and I've had back-to-back one-on-one coaching today, which again is not normal, but it's interesting, the common thread. And I've seen this thread for 20 years of building a home-based business, building teams, building network marketing, but sometimes you forget about it. It's how do you keep leading your existing team that you have while continually focusing on bringing in brand new people. That's the topic of today. So if you want to know how to continually grow with new people but manage a team, this is the call for you today. And this should be it's gonna be a little bit shorter than normal, maybe about 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes at the most. I shouldn't say a time because it's always a little bit longer as I start getting into it, but it should be less than 20 minutes. Let's just put it that way. All right, so I'll tell you this. For those of you that don't know, my wife and I have been building now for over 20 years. And our first 10 years, I was what you would consider, even though we made a six-figure income, we were professional babysitters, professional handholders. We were controlling, like we were kind of like that chicken that would just, sit on the eggs and not let the chicken birth, right? We were just, suffocating our team, and we were burnt out, to be honest. We were burnt out, we were stressed out, and we really got to a point after about 10 years of building a home-based business, building teams, where it's like, is this really worth it? And we really started to think about, is network marketing even worth it? Because we were so burnt out. But what I've learned is it wasn't network marketing's fault. It was the way that my human nature was. It was the lack of strategic ability to build the right way. And many of you have heard my story, but for me, I had to get broken. I had to lose everything financially. I had to have my cars repossessed. I had to reach the lowest point of my life financially till I said, you know what? I've got to do this home-based business the right way. And that's when I learned to create a new way to manage my team and to bring in new people into my business. So here's the first thing that I will tell you in building your team. And here's the question that you have to ask yourself. So here's the question you want to answer yourself. How do you take care of every single person on your team without you personally doing it yourself? Even your personally enrolled people, how do you give them everything that they need without your personal involvement? Meaning without you personally calling them and saying, hey, can I help you with anything? Without you having to answer every single question every single time they help you. How do you give them every human need they need so that they can grow, but it doesn't take your personal time? Because here's what I've learned, that over 90%, and it's probably closer to 95% of, but let's just say 90% of your people on your team, a lot of them, they're going to ask questions. They're going to take a lot of your personal time, but the reality is they're not going to do anything. And a lot of times it's just because they're in so much fear that a lot of times when people are really fearful, or they're professional excuse makers because they're in such a comfort zone that they're not willing to get out of the comfort zone. And I know you've heard this analogy. Can you turn the air up a little bit, baby cakes? I know you've probably heard this analogy many times, but the best way, by the way, come say hi, Kim. Say hi to everybody. See everybody on the conference bridge down here, and yes. Facebook watching the replay.
Yes. Welcome.
Thanks, baby. So the way that you cook a frog, you've heard this before, but it works. It's such a good analogy that I thought about, is you put them in nice warm water and you keep turning it up and you keep turning it up. And no matter how hot the water gets, if you start it slowly, that frog will get cooked. Unfortunately, and it's such a weird example, but unfortunately, many people on your team, they're in such a comfort zone, and no matter how motivated they are with their debt, with their spouse, maybe wanting to retire their spouse, with their kids, because they're in such an amazing comfort zone that's caused because of fear, laziness, excuses, ego, no matter how motivated they sound like they are, it doesn't matter. You know why? Because they're not going to do anything. And unfortunately, until someone's completely cooked. Now, the cool thing about being in business when you're fully cooked is, unfortunately, you don't get burned. Fortunately, you don't die like a frog in a pan. But you do lose things. Maybe financially you lose things. Maybe you lose some team members because you just stop working. You slowly kind of get in this zone of fear and doubt and this cycle and this spinning. Trust me, I'm speaking to the majority of people in network marketing. They're just, and they turn into analyzing. They turn into overthinking. They turn into doubting. They turn into criticism towards you. They turn into worrying. They turn into stress. And they turn into lack of not doing much. Now, I know this is such a negative picture and you want to be positive on these calls, but I'm telling you that this is what, if you sit there and try to manually, personally call your team, every single person on your team, every personally enrolled people, if you're trying to manually do this with everybody, they may be saying they want to go to the next rank. They may be saying they want to hit this certain goal of income by convention. They may be saying all these things. They may be saying how bad they need this to happen. But all they're really saying is to you is, hey, how does this work? How does that work? They're trying to look for this miracle answer from you. They're trying to look for the miracle system, the miracle presentation, when the reality is no matter what you give them, no matter what software, no matter what training, no matter what answer that you give them, no matter how much personal time that you give many people, they're just not going to do anything right now. Now, does that mean you blow them off? Heck no. Because remember when I started this conversation? Oh, Macy, since you're in my video, you got to say hi. Come here. So the key is how do you give every single person on your team everything that they need to be successful? But how do you do that without as much of your personal time of having to answer every question and do all the pieces of leading and managing a team effectively, right? So that's the question. So let me give you some examples of how to do this. And it was just yesterday, I was talking to a six-figure earner about this one thing. I was doing a coaching call on this one thing, and she was telling me how she's got a schedule for all her personally enrolled people on certain days in the week. And she thought she was being very strategic with her time, which she was. But I'm like, why don't you just take all of those personal coaching calls that you do with your personally enrolled team, and why not put them all into one or two or three or four or five group calls throughout the entire week? Start with one, then get to two, then do three and four, and then maybe every day. It's way more leveraging to do one big call with every single personally enrolled or their personally enrolled or their team members and so on. It's better to do one call per day than, again, having to schedule with every single person on your team. Now, look, let me preface this by saying the squeaky wheel, wow, oh my gosh, I can't even believe, what's the squeaky wheel thing? The squeaky wheel will get the oil, right? I remember people on my team that were kicking butt and taking names. By doing this long enough, you just know who's kicking butt. You could see the results. They're making the calls. They're making it happen. They're doing it. They're maybe they're not exploding their business yet, but look, people like me, go-getters, people like you that are watching this most likely, you're the person that's going to find a way to make it happen. You're the person that if you do have a question from the upline, it is because it's very strategically because you need the answer to take action today, not 3 years from now, today. The squeaky wheels always get my time. Almost always get my time. When I'm building, even though I'm enrolling 2 to 3 people every single day, minimum 1. So every single day enrolling 1 to 3 people, even with that, even enrolling 30 to 40 people on a monthly basis, I would get about 10% of the people that even though I had everything in place for them to succeed, the training, what to do, what to say, how to say it, what not to say, how to connect with people, how to find people, all the basics, all the things that they need to do, right? There was no gray area. You just connect with people, you share a message, you get them started, and you get better at it. And here's the training to get better at it. That's it. That's network marketing. It's just connect, share, start. Connect with people, share a presentation, get them started. So my system was so simple. My training was so specific on what to do, what to say, what not to say. It was so clear that they knew what to do. But even with that said, 5 to 10% of the people, they knew what to do, but they still wanted my personal time. They still wanted a question directly from the leader. It's just the way that they were. And guess what? I would find the time. Why? Because the 10 percenters, the 2 to 10 percenters, they're going to find a way to go directly to you to get your questions answered. So it's not like I blew everybody off. It's just I really created a system for the masses, for the people that were in the comfort zone, for the people that were not taking massive action, the people that say they were, but they weren't. Does that make sense? And am I wrong certain times? Sure, but remember, the people who really want to get your time, they would email me, they'd text me, they'd be like, hey dude, you haven't called me back yet. I'd be like, oh, so sorry, I'll call you back tomorrow, or I'll call you back in 5 minutes, or whatever the situation is. They would always get a hold of me. But again, for everybody else, let's go back to that one, this is one of my many strategies that I help with coaching with my top leaders. Set up a group call. But here's what my friend said to me, my coaching client said to me, that's a 6-figure earner. She's like, I schedule them all out. And she's like, I tried your approach, Tom, for the group call and no one would show up. Really interesting, right? No one would ask questions. No one would really tell me what's on their heart of their struggle that they're having a challenge with. And I thought for a second, and I almost buckled and said, okay, yeah, well, you better keep doing what you're doing then. And then I thought of what's the truth behind this. The truth is, if people aren't stepping up and asking questions on your group coaching, then the culture was not established correctly. Because here, let me put it this way. If you don't get on those coaching calls with your team members when you're on that group call, and you don't say things like this, like, look, I know there's a lot of you on this call right now, right? This is exactly what I would say. I know there's a lot of you out here right now, but I'm going to challenge you to act like it's just you and it's just me, period. Because if you're not willing to step up right now and say, hey, the script didn't work, the leads don't work, the presentation, I don't know what to say when I call them back. I called my warm market and they said it's a pyramid. My friend said that the products gave her gas, right? Whatever, I've heard it all. And the more that you embrace, the more that you learn to embrace questions, and you're not afraid to have people give you a little bit of adversity with 100 other people listening in, the more that you embrace questions, and the more that you learn to lovingly but firmly answer those questions, where you can take away the biggest problem that crushes duplication. It's excuses. When you can learn to reach through that phone or live video if you're on and take away that excuse and go, no, Mary, that's not true. Let me share you the reality. And so let me just give you an example instead of giving you. So if you get on the phone, okay, I'm going to give you my number one that keeps ringing in my brain of this woman who is a multimillionaire. If I told you her name right now, she's one of the top social media trainers in the world. She's a powerhouse. I recruited her many years ago. Her name's, I'm just going to say her first name, Sandy. Her first name is Sandy. And she got on the phone with me. She's like, I called 2,000 leads and it didn't work. She said this on a live call and I'm like, oh man, wow. and everybody else listen. But look, I learn to embrace that because everybody's thinking, everybody else in the team, it's good when they hear me overcome that. And they also said, I've been through X, Y, Z of our mentor, Danny's training, and it just didn't work. And I'm thinking, the old Tom would have said, maybe the training's not working for her. Maybe the leads aren't working for her. And I've learned that's not the reality. The reality is the training worked. The leads work. Now, what I say in that situation is I say, man, I'm so sorry that it's not working for you. All I know is this. I know it works. Now, I'm telling you, you're sharp, you're motivated, you're hungry. I know. I've been doing this long enough that it's just slight adjustment. Maybe you're saying too much. Maybe you're saying, maybe you're explaining too much. Maybe you're saying too little. Maybe you're just kind of being black and white with the prospect and just processing them, and just kind of going through the motions. Maybe you're being too overbearing. So I will tell you, and I will tell you, that's always usually one or two just adjustments that you make. I'm telling you, I believe in you so much. I know. I don't know if it's 2,050 calls you got to make. I don't know if it's 3,000, but I do know this. The training works, the leads work, and this process works. That's how I enrolled you. That's how I enroll 1 to 3 people every day. That's how I get an incredible amount of people to our mentor that helps them refine the process. So you learn to overcome objections. You learn lovingly as possible, with as much posture as possible, to lovingly share with that one person that's bold enough to ask that question. And then everybody else on your team, guess what? They will not ask as much. Because guess what? They're probably struggling with calling warm market or calling cold market or generating leads or doing all the same things. They're all the same questions. So I've just learned it's really good to do it in a group setting when you're ready for it. Now, how do you know when you're ready for it? You just got to do it. You just got to do it. And if let's say you only have 3 people on your team, do it with 3 people. And you'll get better by the time you get 4 and then 6. And then 12, and then 20, and then 200. I had thousands of people on that call sometimes. And I'm telling you, it's a great way to leverage. You want to know how I went from 500 personally enrolled people to 40,000 active people, 40,000 distributors on my team, is we just exploded. And you know what was really crazy? A lot of my upline, right, my millionaire upline, they would always say, oh, Tom's retention stinks. And what was really interesting is one of the corporate executives that used to work with the company that I was the #1 earner of, they used to say, Tom, your retention's just as good or better than anybody else in the company. So my retention was incredible compared to anybody else in the company. The growth was obviously faster than anybody in the company. So in every scenario, I recruited more people. I worked less hours. I had wild duplication, and I worked less hours. I was not babysitting anymore. I was able to take weekends off, have dinner with my family, not think about my business 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Why? Because of this one strategy, because of leverage, because of having an intentional mindset of how do I get myself, how do you get yourself out of the way, and how do you create systems, leverage into your business to make it a well-oiled machine. Hey, I'm opening up my schedule for a small handful of people. I've gotten really blessedly busy thanks to some amazing people that I've been partnering with in the network marketing industry. But if you go to coachwithtom.com, fill in your information there, and this is more of a VIP list that sometimes if I have time, I might even reach out and just text you or call you just real quick just to say hi. I've called, I think, at least 60% so far. So, and then if you want to be on my general list where you get all my free videos and you never miss a stream like this, go to this website. If someone's watching the replay of this, go to priorityteam.com. It's priorityteam.com, and this will get you more information specifically about how to build a home-based business and how to build it effectively. Because my thing for you is not just how to make money. It's not just how to reach the next rank. It's not just how to be a top recruiter or duplicator. It's truly how to recruit, create wealth, but more importantly than that, do it with leverage and do it while having a life. Now, this isn't just lip service. It's not just words. I'm telling you something that hardly any network marketing leader in this industry, they don't have a clue. They talk it. They talk about systems, but I'm telling you, they're burnout. Most of them are workaholics. Most of them are thinking about their business 24 hours a day. Most of them, while they're having happy time with their spouse, are probably thinking about their business. While they're going to the bathroom, they're thinking about their business. While they're sleeping, they're dreaming and maybe nightmare about their business. So there really is a way to just get your business done, recruit, duplicate, and sustain, and do it with a lot less time. But you got to get the right coaching. It's not something that just happens. You've got to get strategic coaching of people that have been there. So make sure you plug into my training, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for being a part of this, and make a comment. Let me know. I know there's going to be hundreds of you watching the replay of this later. Make a comment and just let me know who you are. I love going through the comments. Just say your name, maybe where you're from, and if there's anything maybe I could do to help you out, maybe ask a question here would be awesome. All right, God bless you guys. Thanks.